Hey guys, I'm going to be making some soap today. Can you believe it? It's true. But today is going to be a little bit different because I'm not going for design. I'm actually testing a new collection from the Midwest Fragrance Company. They did their autumnal and winter fragrances. And you might be thinking, if you are not a maker, that is insane. Like, why? It's June. Come on, guys. But here's the deal. We can start testing in June and July. And then if we start making in maybe August, September, we'll be ready for a launch in November. So you have to be thinking ahead. If you're a new maker or maybe this is your first Christmas in business, you have to be thinking ahead. Because if you don't test your product until the very last minute, there's no way you're going to be ready. And for those of you who are not makers, this video may or may not be like boring to you. I don't know. Unless you really like the sound of my recorded voice. I don't know. You might. I, for one, have never been super confident in hearing myself on a recording. If you know, you know. It's just one of those things. You're either confident or you're not with the sound of your recorded voice. So I am only going to show you the actual blending of fragrance oil with soap of this first bar because it's the same for all of them. It's the same process. I pour the batter into a smaller pitcher. I'm weighing out, and also I have specific usage rates for each fragrance oil. Each individual fragrance oil has a different usage rate, and that is vitally important. I did not get this when I was first soap making. I just thought, okay, it's a 38-ounce batch. I can use 2 ounces of fragrance oil, not realizing that there's a unique IFRA usage rate. There's a chart, IFRA. So you got to check that for each individual fragrance oil because some of them are very, very, very low usage rate. This particular one is called Autumn Cottage. That's the fragrance oil name, and it is performing very well. There's a slight discoloration when I start to mix this up. The scent is very strong, which I love. There's no ricing. And you'll see it's remaining nice and fluid. So I have the bar sitting right here. And after saponification, the scent did lighten up a little bit, but it's still very spicy. What a fragrance oil. Oh. Just going to sit here and sniff it. It did have a lower usage rate. This one I used 4% of for a usage rate for Autumn Cottage. It is spicy, like cinnamon. I don't really get clove notes, but definitely cinnamon. A little bit of woodsy. Kind of smells like wood chips a little bit, which I'm very partial to that scent. It's a very good scent. So I highly recommend having test batches. I haven't always done this, but I am seeing so much of the benefit of testing your fragrance oils because if you look at the color wheel and if a fragrance oil discolors to yellow and you're wanting a red soap, you're going to get orange. Okay, that's just the way the cookie crumbles. You have to work with the fragrance oil, not against it. And just because there's no vanillin in a fragrance oil does not mean it will not discolor. And sometimes the reviews on a website are helpful, and sometimes they don't give you the full picture that you really need. So testing these fragrance oils yourself is going to be enormously beneficial, and it is worth the time. This is so tedious. Even making this video, I'm like, ugh, can we just get on with it? I want the colors, I want the glitter, I want the frosting, I want all the things. But this is going to help me so much come the time that it's actually time to make my holiday collection. I'm going to know which scents discolor greatly, which ones perform well, which ones do not. If there's something that is super naughty, I'm not going to want to use it. It's just going to be too much upkeep and hassle. So this is that first one that I made The Autumn Cottage one, you can see it discolored slightly to a creamy tan. It's not terribly discolored, but I am marking these with my customizable biscuit stamp. I got this on Amazon, so I can change the numbers and letters on there. And I put the number that I marked the fragrance oil as, and I'm also stamping it with the actual name of the fragrance oil, so I don't have to go back into my notes, my big binder, my soap binder. I can just see it at a glance, like, hey, Autumn Cottage, I poured this 4 weeks ago and look at how it's discoloring, or look at how it's ashed, or just different things. Like, I can tell things just at a glance. And I'm going to put all of these bars right onto my curing rack so I can see and watch them as they cure and how they change or don't change. Maybe they might just stay as they are. But it'll be interesting to test each of these out. This second one is Everlasting Autumn. I used 2.5% for a usage rate. So this one was fairly low in usage rate. It did discolor slightly to a bit of a yellow color. And the scent after saponification is very pleasant. It's very pleasant. It's woodsy, it's warm, slightly masculine. The scent is lighter. Because the usage rate is lighter, I tend to use like between 5 and 7% usage rate for my soaps because I like a good strong scent, but I never want to use too much. Since this one had a low usage rate, I had to use less. So this is something that I'll be able to tell with the cure. Hey, this one really just didn't hold the scent because of the low usage rate. It didn't hold the scent as I was hoping, and so I really don't want to use this one. I may find that. I may find that it holds scent really well. That's just something that this testing will help me to determine. This is Vanilla Chai Latte. And if you are a maker, you know that anything that contains vanillin is going to discolor almost to black, honestly. If it has a high percentage of vanillin, it's going to discolor quite greatly. This one has a usage rate that's very low, so I only was able to use 1.5% in this bar. And so it is a little speckly. I actually really like that look. It almost looks like cinnamon, which you don't want to use straight cinnamon in your soaps because it can actually burn your skin. The scent is very strong despite the fact that it has a low usage rate. So that Everlasting Autumn toned way down with the low usage rate. The Vanilla Chai Latte actually stuck. It stuck. It stayed. So that'll be one to watch with the cure as well, with the low usage rate, if it's going to actually stay or not. So this next one discolored to a kind of ambery yellow. This one is Fireside Ember. I was able to use 6% for the usage rate. It's a nice creamy looking bar. It has no ashing. It just looks gorgeous. It's just gorgeous. The scent is slightly lighter with the cure. It has almost a fir pine scent, almost with some patchouli undernotes. It's very pleasant. It seems to my nose to be slightly more masculine of a scent. This one was very good to soap with. There was no ricing, no acceleration. So this one, if it cures really well and sticks, the scent sticks, this will be one that I'll come back to because this is a really pleasant scent. It was a good experience to soap with. So that one has a thumbs up from me. Next one. This one is Aspen Woods. This one was very strong, this scent, when I was making it, and now it's very strong as well. I did use 6% for the usage rate. It did discolor immediately upon adding the fragrance oil to the soap. And this one I believe has 0% vanillin, but you can see it's a very dark amber, almost brown. Not like dark brown, but more amber brown. It did discolor, and the scent is almost a little smoky. I get little smoky notes. It's cool, almost a little bit of mint undertones, definitely pine, more masculine. This one would be great for a more manly, and it honestly would work all year round. This does not smell as spicy as some of the other ones do. So this one would be a great one for year round. And it did soap very well as well. There's no ashing. This next one is Heart and Home. This one didn't discolor quite as much as some of the other ones. It was very strong when I was when I was soaping with it. I could smell it wafting up, but it's also very strong after saponification. So if this one keeps its scent really well during cure, I'm definitely coming back to this one. This one's a keeper. It was really good to soap with. And I like that it doesn't discolor greatly. It's kind of got, what is that Yankee candle? There's a Yankee candle that's pink. I don't know. It reminds me of a Yankee candle. It's got some fruity notes. There's some cinnamon spice. Like, think of a 90s household with like gingham and all those little elongated hearts and stuff, that's Heart and Home. This next one is Merry Memories. This one did discolor a little bit. It almost reminds me of like a rosy, kind of mauve-y, and it's hard to tell in the video, the screen. Oh, does this smell good? This one's got some woodsy undertones. Really, really, really nice scent. Very strong when I was making it, and it's very strong now. So this is, like I said, kind of rosy tan almost in color. And this one actually, I have my notes right in front of me too. This one actually slowed trace. That is a thing of beauty. That can be hard to find sometimes. So if you're looking for a really super intricate design for your holiday creations, Merry Memories, top of the list. If this one does not discolor more and sticks during the cure of the scent, I'm definitely coming back to that one. This one, Snowy Mountain Retreat. Very yellow. Very, very yellow. This one, honestly, after saponification, it got quite light and almost musky. Like if you think of a cabin that's been closed up and it's in the mountains, so there's fresh air and snowy, crisp notes, but also kind of a musty smell. Yeah. And honestly, the scent, it kind of feels like it faded away a little bit. I don't know. We're going to have to check this one. This one might be one to watch. I may not use this one. I don't know. It's always interesting to see how something smells different out of the bottle to actually poured into the soap, batter, and then saponification, and then cure. And it's such a process and a journey. A fragrance is never just one thing. It's like the whole process has a different kind of note, or it can. Okay, so next one is Vintage Christmas. This probably is, this is one of the ones that stayed whiter than, oh, does this smell good? Guys, don't wait on this one. Get it. Vintage Christmas. Go get it. It's kind of like a winey type, but not boozy. Like berry. Rich berry. It's like a comforting, warm hug. And this one was really strong when I poured it, and it's really strong now. It did do a weird morph. Immediately after pouring the fragrance oil in, it turned a weird green, but as you can see, it turned back to white. So if you use it and you're like, what is happening? Don't worry, it's going to turn back. So Vintage Christmas, number 1 top list. This one is Wine Country. And despite the fact that it's nice and white, this one was horrible to work with. Horrible. It was my favorite. You can see it gelled 121. This was 2 minutes after pouring. I poured at 80 degrees for this one. and it went from 80 degrees to 121 within a matter of minutes. It was soap on a stick. It riced horribly. It accelerated horribly. It went through a hot gel phase. But I will say this, the scent out of bottle and the scent after saponification, glorious, glorious, rich scent, very fruity, got a little bit of a tang, not super boozy, like off-putting, but a little bit of that tang from the kind of boozy notes. If you're looking for a challenge, Wine Country, if you can battle through it, man, I have a feeling it's going to be worth it. These are my test soaps. You can see how white they are compared to all of the rest. You can see just how much fragrance oils play a role in discoloration. It is not just vanillin. There are other elements in a fragrance oil that cause discoloration. So I like to do a test, a bar or two, just to see the difference between how the fragrance oil works and what my typical soap recipe looks like without any colorant or fragrance oil. All of these bars have zero colorant. The only color that you see here is from the fragrance oil. So this was such a fun experiment. I've done this a couple times with new lines, and this is going to be a pattern for me now because I just can't go back to what I was before. I'm changed. I'm a changed person. I love this. Seeing all of these lined up, I'm going to be able to go to my curing rack and pick stuff up and smell them. And then I just have these individual Autumn Cottage, there's Everlasting Autumn right next to their bottle. The Midwest Fragrance Company, if you're watching this video today, they have a 30% off 2-ounce bottles. So all of these bottles are 2 ounces. They fit perfectly in the Amazon mold, you know, the purple one that has 10 bars, it's 10 inches. That's kind of the standard mold that beginners start with. I just use those because I like them. But this 2-ounce bottle is a perfect size for those molds. So if you're wanting to get some, get on over there and get some on sale. And you will not regret it. If you need some fragrance oil kind of recommendations, pop a comment below and I can give you some because I love their fragrance oils. Just look at them. They're beautiful. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Please share with your soapy friends who are looking for some new recommendations. As always, my name's Martha. I'm the owner and operator at Blue Haven Soapery. You can find all my goodies at bluehavensoapery.etsy.com. I'm also running a sale from now to July 1st, 40% off all my items in shop, so go take a look.